This episode is brought to you by Glorify, the #1 Christian daily devotional app. Everything around us changes. God doesn't. That's why I love Glorify's 21-day challenge. It helps me build a simple habit of meeting with God every day. No pressure, just consistency. With Glorify, you can start your morning by reading the Bible passage of the day, diving into Glorify's daily devotional, and wrapping up with an immersive experience called Daily Walk with God. And if you need to take a few minutes to yourself in the middle of a busy day, try one of Glorify's guided meditations, or listen to their curated worship playlists for some quiet reflection. To end the day, enjoy Glorify's sleep meditations to help you wind down and put your mind and heart at ease. Whether you're a committed Christian or simply curious about faith, Glorify has something for you. Join over 20 million people who have downloaded the Glorify app and deepened their relationship with God. Listeners to the show can get full access to Glorify for just $29.99 for the entire year. That's Glorify's lowest price ever when you download the Glorify app now at glorify-app.com/redcircle. Feel closer to God this year with Glorify. Get full access all year for just $29.99 at glorify-app.com/redcircle. That's glorify-app.com/redcircle.
As we're here thinking about creative night, and being creative in your respective fields, I think whether you're finance and whether you're a designer, everything that we do requires creativity. And creativity is really just another term for God showing up. You know, it's just like, all right, God, how do you show up to give me the solution to solve this problem?
Come on, man.
You know, and all problems require a creative solution. And it doesn't have to be fashion or art or design that comes across as creative. You know, you got to be creative in paying the bills to take care of your kids. You know, you gotta be, and I think it's just being open to the Holy Spirit.
So good. Like, creative is not a category. Fashion is creative, music is creative, but being a mom is not creative,
exactly,
or an administrative role is not creative. It's almost like we have relegated creativity to certain tasks, and God never does. Right. Did you ever read that thing, and I don't know if I'm going to get this right, that the first person that is mentioned to be filled with the Holy Spirit in the Bible, or the Spirit of God, was someone who was an architect, not someone who was a worship leader. Mm. And we use Spirit-filled to talk about people who are on the stage or people who preach. But the first person who was designated as Spirit-filled was a builder, and really not even an architect, more of a construction worker. So I think our categories often don't apply to a God who is creator. And I think that's a really powerful thing. I think you should say more about that. It's really good. That creativity isn't the right of a certain group of individuals who do a certain type of work. Like, we need to bring creativity to the people, democratize creativity, set it free for all of God's children. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I love that, and I think I didn't know that, but I just love that it's in the work, and I think He just honors us when we do the work. You know, when we're putting everything that He's given us into what He's given us. And that's why I just get a little shy around talking about creativity and what I do, when I've seen my mom be creative in how she would shop for antiques and decorate our home when we didn't have money. And it felt like a luxury home. But, she did it on a check-to-check paycheck. And I've seen what we consider beautiful creative things like architecture and paintings and things outside of my physical capacity that I look at in awe. And I think I've been blessed to be.
This episode is brought to you by Glorify, the #1 Christian daily devotional app. Everything around us changes. God doesn't. That's why I love Glorify's 21-day challenge. It helps me build a simple habit of meeting with God every day. No pressure, just consistency. With Glorify, you can start your morning by reading the Bible passage of the day, diving into Glorify's daily devotional, and wrapping up with an immersive experience called Daily Walk with God. And if you need to take a few minutes to yourself in the middle of a busy day, try one of Glorify's guided meditations, or listen to their curated worship playlists for some quiet reflection. To end the day, enjoy Glorify's sleep meditations to help you wind down and put your mind and heart at ease. Whether you're a committed Christian or simply curious about faith, Glorify has something for you. Join over 20 million people who have downloaded the Glorify app and deepened their relationship with God. Listeners to the show can get full access to Glorify for just $29.99 for the entire year. That's Glorify's lowest price ever when you download the Glorify app now at glorify-app.com/redcircle. Feel closer to God this year with Glorify. Get full access all year for just $29.99 at glorify-app.com/redcircle. That's glorify-app.com/redcircle.
To have a point of view. I think what separates me from others within my industry is I know what I'm proposing, and I'm clear on that, and I'm clear on where I get that direction from, and that allows me to appear as if I'm really creative. But I really just have a strong point of view. I really just have a strong proposition and a very exact outlook on how I want my campaigns, on how I want my designs, on how I want certain things to fit, on how I want the fabrics to feel. But I just don't know that that's creative. I think that's more of just kind of like having a point of view.
Yeah, and one thing you told me last night is like demystifying it. A lot of people would want to know where you get your ideas from, but maybe they really don't, because maybe it's not as really sexy or as glamorous as people think.
Yeah.
The process, we were sharing, and I think Desiree and Holly were both complaining that both of us are horrible to watch movies with or TV shows, because Desiree was saying that Jerry will pause the movie and 45 minutes later come back, am I getting this right? Because he'll see something in the 80s movie that will inspire him. So it's almost like I got the feeling from that his antenna is always up and it never shuts off, and that he's always, is that right? Like assuming that God is always speaking through all kinds of things, not just in one format.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think one of the things that I found for me is just to like always be open. And if I'm going to have something on TV, and my wife will tell you, if I'm going to have something on in the morning, it's a YouTube message. It's yourself. It's Jake's. And it's how am I taking, these messages and applying it to my work.
And you start your day that way every day with a sermon.
Every day.
First thing.
Every day. Because my work needs foundation. My work needs like a reason of why I'm doing it. And on the point of view side, on the creative side, like I know right now as I'm developing Seventh Collection, like I'm looking at a certain era. So if I'm home just watching TV, like I can't afford to just be watching TV. I got to have a movie on from that era. I have to have something on from that era that I might, see a collar, like yes, or I might see something styled a certain way. And I think it's,
Does it ever drive you crazy? Like, I can't turn it off. Do you get to that point?
I don't get to that point.
Really?
I think I'm just constantly open. I'm not constantly looking, but I'm constantly open.
I see.
I think, like, that's why I love vintage shopping. If I go vintage shopping and I'm like trying to find something, I never find it. But if I go without like an idea of what I'm looking for, it's like, I'll come home with 20 bags of references of like, this is what I'm going to do. And so I think it's like more so trying to stay open versus like trying to find it.
That's a big distinction. Open versus actively forcing an idea. It's just kind of like, okay, if something wants to come, I'm here.
Yeah, and when it comes, then the activity starts. Once you find it, then you got to work to materialize that idea, and the work does start then.
So it's almost like, hey, God, if you want to drop anything today, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
Like if there's blueprints
I promise to honor you through this idea. Like, I'm going to give you the glory. Just give me the idea, please.
Right.
So, selfishly, God, give me this, idea what to do with the collection.
But he loves that. That's a part of how he relates to you. He knows how he wired you, and he loves to be in that collaboration with you, huh? It's like, that's his pleasure to communicate with you in that way through whether it's Back to the Future or a Bible verse. He wants to speak to us in those ways. And when we don't let him, it must be frustrating for him, because I had so much I wanted to show you. It was all around you, but you weren't looking. Your eyes were.
Yeah. And I think that's the point too, man. It's like, I'm more scared of not being available to him to what he wants to show me. So it's like I have to make sure that I'm constantly open to what it is that he wants to show me and where he wants to lead me. And I had someone asked me a question: aren't you scared to be promoting God the way that you're doing, or that have him involved in your work? And I'm scared not to have him. I can't imagine him not being involved,